Here's our next episode of SDM Tech Talks. Today we'll explain how to set up a Zoom account, how to activate a breakout room in a Zoom meeting, a little bit about how we are working from home, and then some tips about how to choose a spreadsheet program. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, this is Josh with the SDM Foundation, and a lot of people are shut in these days and they still want a way to be able to connect with friends and family. So we're going to do a quick demo on Zoom, which is a quick and easy web application, or you can download the full desktop or mobile application. But it's a quick and easy free web application that you can use for video chatting, screen sharing, or regular chatting, and just audio calls as well. So the only thing that it requires is that the host of the meeting does have to set up an account. But once you set up a free account, then the host can start a meeting and then send out a link to join the meeting to anybody. And anybody who has the link doesn't have to make an account. They can just join in a web browser. So it's very convenient, and you don't have to know how to do anything except navigate to a website or just click on a link that somebody sends you. Well, there's a few extra clicks, but we're going to go through that now. So Zoom is what we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and click on Zoom Videoconferencing. I'm going to go ahead and click on, I've already made an account. I'm going to go ahead and click on Sign In. And I'm going to sign into the account that I created earlier. Okay, and I'm going to host a new meeting. So up in the corner here, after you sign in, it says host a meeting, and the options are screen share with video on and with video off. So with video off would just be an audio call, and there's an open chat available for typing. Video on means you would have, if you have a camera of some sort in your laptop, then you'd be able to see the other person. They'd be able to see you, or well, each person has control over their own camera. So video would start the chat or the meeting with your video on. And screen share means sharing your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and host a meeting with screen share. Now it says it might prompt you to download something, and it might not say anything about a browser. So if it won't let you move forward, you can hit the download. It'll just download into your Chrome, but then this should open. If it doesn't, just say, if nothing prompts from your browser, click here to launch the meeting. Again, we don't have to download any software. So I'm going to say click here. And it's going to say, if you cannot download or run the application, start from your browser. So a lot of people just don't want to download the software. They just want to run it in the browser. So this is a valid option. So I'm going to just choose start from your browser to run the web application. Okay, so now I'm hosting a meeting here on Zoom. So I'm the only one in here. Josh D, that's me. I'm going to close this here. See, there is a chat I can type. It says to everybody. If there was somebody in here, I could message them individually. There's no one here right now. I'm going to close this. So I can join the audio. I can start my video recording of my screen of me if I have a camera, and I can start sharing my screen if I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click invite here, and that's going to give me an invitation URL that I can copy and send to somebody. There's also some buttons here to use an email provider to send it out, but the easiest way is just to copy URL, and that's going to copy this part here from HTTPS all the way through. And I'm going to go ahead and open a new window. And the person who receives this link, when they go there, they'll get to a Zoom web page. See, it might do this little download thing, but you can ignore it. So if it doesn't happen, just restart. Refresh. It says, if nothing prompts, click here, okay, and join the browser. Okay, so this password is already going to be filled in for you. that's copied in from the browser, the URL up here. So you just give it a meeting name, and we're just going to say new member, and we're going to join. Okay, and now we're in this meeting. You can see Josh D was the host, and the participants are me, new member, and Josh D is the host. And you can chat, you can join the audio, you can start your video camera recording. I think you can invite new people. The host may have veto power over that. And then let me go back to the host screen. Now, if the host decides to leave a meeting, or anyone, well, the host decides to leave the meeting, they can say, they can leave the meeting or they can end the meeting. So they can still leave the meeting going on if they just want to, if they have to leave or want to leave and they still want the meeting to continue. I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting. But Zoom is a great tool. You can communicate with people very easily, and you don't need an account. Well, only the person hosting the meeting needs the account. So it's very easy for people who may not be very computer savvy. You can just send them a link. They can click on it, and hopefully they can join pretty easily, and you can start chatting with them.
This is Thatcher from the SDM Foundation, and today I'm going to be showing you a bit about breakout rooms in Zoom. Now, what breakout rooms are what they sound like, separate rooms you can create within one Zoom meeting. So you can take all the participants in the meeting and split them up into smaller groups in various different sizes and either at random or selected participants. Now I'm going to show you how to enable that because it's not enabled right away. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Zoom, click on Settings, click on View More Settings, which is going to take us to a browser where we'll have to sign in to Zoom again, which I will do quickly. And then all we have to do is scroll down and make sure that we have it enabled. You'll also find lots of other useful settings in here if you really want to be able to specify what type of meetings you'll be having. So right here you can see that we found the breakout room setting and we have it on. So this would turn off and that turns it on, and as you can see it says my settings have been updated. No need to save it. And then this little checkbox will determine if you want to have the participants automatically dispersed, or if you want to be able to assign that as the host. Also, keep in mind that if your account is underneath another account, so if it's not an admin account, you will need the admin account that is above yours to enable this feature before you can even enable it yourself. So for instance, at SDM, our boss had to enable the ability for me to do this before I could actually enable this feature myself. It just wasn't allowed. Okay, and now that that is enabled, we're going to go and look at this meeting that I've been hanging out in by myself, but it doesn't matter, just an example. So breakout rooms will now appear, and when you hit it, it's fairly straightforward. Assign however many participants there are in the room to the number of rooms you'd like to do, and if you leave it on automatically, it will just do it automatically at random, and if you do manually, it will bring up this where you can assign each individual to each breakout room that you create. You can add rooms, edit them, change their names, etc. My name is Thatcher, and I'm going to be showing you what we have been doing to help those who reach out to us while maintaining social distancing by helping remotely from our respective homes. Each of us is adapting to this situation as it unfolds to the best of our ability to be able to help you and our community. For example, even though I'm temporarily displaced from my usual room/office setup, I went from this to this. And that's where I currently am. That's the setup I'm using. So, having the second monitor and having more space allows me to be in a better state of mind to help people and have more room so that I can have something going on the screen while I'm having a conversation here. I can still look up things and have the ability to access more information at once, have more connectivity, things like that. The primary method we have been using to keep in touch with each other and to hold meetings and appointments. Zoom lets all of the team members at SDM have an ongoing group discussion so we can all be on the same page about our day-to-day events. It also allows for easy contact between any number of team members to collaborate on a project or to share ideas. We also hold our appointments on Zoom, audio, and/or video calls, which have the ability to share what you are doing on your computer, phone, or tablet, which is very similar to the setup of this video right here. So you'd be able to see everything that they have going on. So if someone has a problem specifically on, their device, makes things a lot easier for us to help, or if they need to learn something about certain program, we can watch them in that program, etc. And that greatly enhances our ability to help meet the needs of our clients. And we also continue to utilize our shared SDM Google Drive, which goes really well with Zoom. They go hand in hand and they work well together. So we can access a document at the same time, work on the same project and collaborate together like that. So we can be talking or on a call in Zoom, and we can be actively working on the same document in, say, Google Documents or Google Sheets, for example. And, that really makes a big difference. We can see who's actually online or not. So like who's sort of in the office, if you will, etc. So now what I'm going to do is show you guys an example Zoom call the same way that we would have a call with any of our clients. During this Zoom call, I'm also going to explain how my family has used Zoom to stay in touch with our extended family and friends during the quarantine, and how the transition has been a bit easier for them since they have an SDM team member, myself, living at home with them. So right now I'm going to go ahead and email my appointment link to my mom, who's going to be using Zoom on either her phone, tablet, or computer downstairs. All right, and now we have admitted Edith Ackerman into the call.
Hi, Thatcher.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. So, I have a couple questions for you about what Zoom and SDM have done to help your situation in this current quarantine.
Yeah.
So, what ways have you used Zoom during this time that have been different from how you might have used it previously?
Well, I got to be honest with you, I really hadn't used it previously. So although I'd heard other people talking about using it, at work. I had never used it because we have other things that we use in my work. So the first time I encountered it was with friends. And since then, people have been using it for work purposes too, because it's different than some of the other platforms that we have.
And in what ways would you say it's different?
Well, for among my friends, it's obviously completely different than anything we would have been doing, which we maybe would have done FaceTime. But even that, we really didn't spend a lot of time on the phone. We mostly spent time together in person.
Right.
And for work, it has offered some much more social, much more interesting ways of having some certain kinds of meetings, because it's nice to be able to see everyone's faces and not just, we use Teams as a platform and we use Skype, and both of those limit the number of faces you're going to see at once. So having a meeting with, say, a dozen people, this way you get to see everybody. And that's really important when we're trying to stay connected with people while we're all working from home. So that's one thing. Also, we found when I was using the platform with friends, we can go into breakout rooms, and we do that for game purposes. It's silly, but at work, it's going to be very valuable to use breakout rooms on Zoom for meetings where we want to divide the larger group into smaller groups for small discussions.
And then you can bring those groups back together into the encompassed meeting.
Exactly. And it seems to be pretty easy. I haven't had to manage the meeting, but as a participant, it's very easy. The facilitator assigns you a group. They send you into your rooms. They let you know when it's almost time to come back, and you leave your room and you come back to the meeting and go back and forth really, really easily, so that in the case of, say, a trivia game with my friends, it works out very well. And for work, I could see it working if you had a larger group, like 100 people, and you wanted to have smaller conversations, because you can't really have a conversation with 100 people.
Right. And just to speak a bit more on the trivia and, social aspect of Zoom that you've been using, how would you describe the change from, the weekly trivia that you and friends would meet up at versus, having the same sort of thing online?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think the first time we spent a lot more time chit-chatting in the big group, and the game took forever, and it was a lot of fun, but we hadn't caught up in a really long time. So some of the similarities were that we got to see each other. We had someone have a baby, not during the meeting, not during the call, but last week during the game time, someone who would have been with us actually delivered her baby at 7:00, and we found out about it at 7:30 while we were all on the call. So some of those same moments where you get to celebrate with friends that we would otherwise be missing, we're really there for that in real time. Obviously not in the delivery room, but so some of the similarities are that we have social time just to see each other and share things that are unhappy, things that are happy, the way that we usually do.
Right.
So that's a great thing. And I can't remember exactly how you asked the question, but it certainly has provided that, which is similar. And I think the main way that it's different is just that not so much that it's all that different in the playing of a trivia game, but more that we've not been able to catch up in between very much. So we don't see each other other times. We're desperate to catch up, and we talk a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. All right, and then the last question I have for you is, how is having me at home, an SDM team member, been helpful from the transition, from all the normalcy to all of this unexpected craziness that's going on? Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of clever, but I'm not really good on this kind of stuff at all when it's something new to me. I'm fine if I've done something before. I can usually remember almost how it worked, but I didn't have the right version on my work laptop. I didn't know if I could get it through my work laptop. I was using my phone and my iPad, and you helped me straighten all that out and make sure that I was using the right platform and help me find the view that everyone wants with the grid view, so you can see everyone. Otherwise, you're kind of lost. You're like, wow, I'm just looking at one person. That's not very much fun. So it's been really helpful to have you at my side, so I can just say quickly, wait, I don't understand, or everyone else is using a background. How can I get a background? So
Right.
those kinds of things have been really helpful, and they add to the richness of using the platform to be able to use all of the stuff that it has to offer, or at least some of it. So that's been really helpful.
And I think you've told me that you've been able to sort of use that to ease the process of, using the same technology with other people.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yes, I forgot that, but my mom, your grandmother, obviously had no idea how to use Zoom, pretty much like me when she started. And so the first call with her was a little bit bumpy. And we ended up having her on a phone while the rest of us were on Zoom. So we had to go for round 2 to get it right. But having you have the fact that you had walked me through the experience, and then I had learned, made it much easier for me to teach her, because I emulated some of the tricks that you used in teaching me how to use it and teaching her how to use it.
All right. Well, that's great to hear. That's exactly the type of thing that would be occurring if, I was at SDM on Main Street opposed to working from home. So that's great.
Yeah.
Welcome to our Introduction to Spreadsheets series. The first thing that you want to have in mind when using spreadsheets is what your specific needs are, which will determine what software is best for you. Because of the wide array of things that you can do with spreadsheets, this will vary greatly from person to person. The first program we're looking at here is Google Sheets, which is represented by this symbol, and you get to it from this menu when you're signed into a Google account. And here again is the Google Sheets symbol. We'll come back to that soon. Next, what we're looking at is Microsoft's Excel, one of the more commonly known spreadsheet programs. And the symbol up here, which is this symbol enlarged, is what you'll see for Excel. And then the last program we'll be looking at today is Apple's Numbers, specifically for Macs. So first, let's talk about Excel, because it's the oldest and most known of the three. If you are in a corporate environment, you most likely have to use Excel because most companies are still using it as the foundation for all of their spreadsheet data. So if that's your environment, there's really no way to get around that. But on the other hand, it is also the software with the most capabilities and most complexities, giving it a reason to be the go-to software for corporations. If you are in such an environment, most likely you already have access to Excel and all its properties. But if this is still the right software for your needs and you are not in a corporate environment, you can still use most of the features for free online just by having a Microsoft account. And that is what we're looking at here. As you can see, Go Premium is an option, but I've just logged into Excel on a browser, or logged into my Microsoft account on a browser, and now I have access to Excel. And as you can see, we're opening up a blank workbook, and this is what the general layout looks like once you're actually inside a spreadsheet. You can also purchase the downloadable version or a subscription to Microsoft Office, which would include Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, things like that. There's various options, but like I said, you can access most features for free just with a Microsoft account. The second option we're going to be looking at is Google Sheets. Google Sheets does a great job of trying to implement everything that Excel implements while giving you the software essentially for free. And the only reason I say it's not completely free is because you need to have a Google account to access Google Sheets in the Google Drive, which means that you are giving Google rights to your information, which we have all learned recently has great value in and of itself. What makes Google Sheets unique and separates itself from other softwares is the smooth integration with Google Drive and Google Suite features. As you can see, the Google Sheets layout is very similar to the Microsoft Excel layout. But some of those unique features, like saving files as you work on them continuously, as you can see here, as well as having a cloud storage space to keep all of the document files, which is the Google Drive. So it keeps your Excel files, your Google Docs files, and it gives you free storage, which you can obviously pay for more of, and it also makes it very easy to share with others. This is really a great resource, especially when you take into account the ability to have multiple people working on it or viewing the same file in real time. Sending, sharing, and working on files with other Google account users or other members of your Google Suite is all made extremely easy and smooth. So if you already utilize the features that come with the Google account or work with Google Suites, then Google Sheets is right for you. Last but not least, we're going to take a look at Numbers. Numbers is Apple's version of spreadsheet software. It is the most unique of the three options we've been discussing. This can be both a good thing and a bad thing, but that all depends on what you're using spreadsheet software for. If you are doing database-sized spreadsheet work, Numbers simply won't be able to fulfill your needs. It does not have the capacity to work with seemingly endless amounts of data, such as Excel and Sheets. However, Numbers is by far the most aesthetically pleasing and has the most visual options available. The program does a lot of the formatting for you and has a wide variety of templates to choose from and lots of customization options. As you can see here, there's lots of templates to start with, all very neatly and very clearly showing their data. Numbers is also the best program at integrating text into spreadsheets, especially in terms of displaying the information from the spreadsheets in different formats. Here's just one example of that. Trying to find the right program to use for any need can be daunting with how many choices we have today. But an individual's needs should always determine which one to choose. We at the SDM Foundation are happy to answer your questions about such things or figure out what software best suits your needs. Go to our website, www.sdmfoundation.net, to learn more and to find out how to contact us, find more educational videos, blog posts, and to see what we're doing to help the community right now.